At the lotus feet of our beloved Lord Bhagavan Baba, respected elders, brothers and sisters, Sairam to all of you. I'm here to share with you a particular service project that I was personally also involved, which was in Sri Lanka, and the transformation or the little bit of transformation that I experienced by getting involved in this project. All of you all would have heard about the war that happened in Sri Lanka, mainly in the north and the east of Sri Lanka. This war was going on for about more than 3 decades, and the war was ended in May 2009. And there were many people who lost their lives, especially during the last stages of the war. Several innocent people were killed in the crossfire. And actually, the government did not expect that the war would end so soon, and also they did not expect there will be so many civilians that will be trapped, who will be trapped. They actually expected only less than 100,000, but actually there were about 1 million people who got displaced. Basically, people who had houses and everything, in a few days or few months, they lost just everything. And they were referred as IDPs, internal displaced people. And they were also, they were housed in several temporary camps in a place called Chetikulam, which is in Mannar, which is in the northern part of Sri Lanka. And they were not only like displaced people, but since they were from these areas which were controlled by the LTT, which the government was fighting a war, they were also viewed as possible suspects of terrorists, because they thought that there may be terrorists also within them. So they were kept in almost like a closed prison. And this is the living conditions which they were, like you can see the barbed wires and the temporary shelters, and there were no proper sanitation facility, no proper food, no proper medical facilities, because the government did not expect so many to come. They thought only it will be less than 100,000, but there was 1 million. No drinking water. Probably the people were here in this place for more than, some of them for more than a year as well. And in the initial 3-4 months, they didn't even have proper drinking water. A person probably would have had a bath maybe once a month. So that was the living conditions. And since one thing is that the government did not expect so many people here, and this was like the condition of the people. You will see malnourishment. You see people, with long-grown beards. Some women, the age, they were like 16, 17 with children, but they look like 40-year-olds. And you see some people without hands, legs. So this was the condition which was there. So the Sai organization was one of the first non-government organization that rushed to the scene, and because they were also viewed as suspects, no other organization was allowed to go into this area and do anything. And because of the unblemished record of the Sai organization in Sri Lanka, and of course around the world, the government allowed us. And the government, though they didn't allow the other organization, but they were themselves was not properly organized initially. And they didn't have enough facilities. So what we did was, what we saw the immediate need was, there was need for medical assistance. So what we did was, every 2 weeks, we would go there and stay there for 3 days and have a full day medical camp. Around 10 doctors and about 10 helpers would participate. And also with this, there was not only a lack of medical facilities, they didn't have proper food, they didn't have proper clothing, and they didn't have proper place to sleep. So we provided all that. It was not just the medical camp, we just went there and provided all these as well. And one of the main things here is they didn't have anyone to talk to. So talking to them itself was a great service because they had gone through so many things. They had been living, they have been just moving from places to places, and they have seen their own family dying just in front of them, and they had to just leave them and just move. So there is no proper funeral or anything to do. If somebody falls hit, they just have to leave them and move. So the service that was done was, as I mentioned before, medical camps and all that. You can see in this photo here. And initially, like the first day when I went there, like I couldn't believe myself. I was wondering whether I am in reality, because I used to see like it was like a movie, like seeing a war movie. I would see people with open wounds, some people just holding on to with just temporary plasters, and it was a horrible sight actually. Flies all over, and so that was the condition. So we just got in there and did what we can, and by getting involved in this, it was like for me, first time in my life, as Lord Buddha may have experienced 2,500 years ago, I experienced the sorrow side. Though I had involved in many service projects, but this was something which was quite different. And displaced people were living in most undesirable conditions, without food, without shelter, without their necessities of life. So this was something, when I saw them, it was like something like I learned to be content. And for the first time I understood the severity of karma. First time I understood what compassion is. And all the time, though I used to go there every 2 weeks, it's not just going there and staying for 3 days. There's a lot of preparatory work because we had to get a lot of approvals. We had to send in the names of people who are going there. It was like worse than a border crossing. We had to send in the names, get approvals. We had to send in the goods that are going there. And they will screen the people who are going there. When we go to the point, our buses are checked. But Swami took care of most of the things. We were not harassed so much, but there was always challenges. So even though when we were not there was planning to be done. So I was always thinking with others on how better we can do things, so to elevate or at least to some level remove their sufferings. The selfless life is the answer to karma. To live and understand the meaning of life, there cannot be a better environmental than to see the suffering of vast multitude. I have seen it, and it all inspired me, and it really brought out the energy in me to get involved in more service projects. So the Sai organization did not stop here. We continue with our work because these people have now been moved to their villages, and we identified about 7 villages, and we have started the SS VIP program there. We help them to build their houses, and because these people, just in few days, they were somebody and they just became nobody. So we help them, and with some people, there are a lot of women who have lost their husbands. We help them with their livelihood. We help them to build wells and water projects and so on. So as time is up, I will not take any of your time. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Sathya Sai.